August 1945, the US Air Force dropped 2 nuclear bombs on Japanese cities Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Lots of people think those were the only nuclear bombs ever dropped. They are wrong. This is the story about 4 nuclear bombs accidentally dropped here on a village in the southeast of Spain. And this is the story about failing parachutes. Welcome to one of the biggest disasters of the Cold War, the Palomares Incident. Back in the 60s, the great US of A was afraid not to be able to respond fast enough to a possible Soviet attack with nuclear missiles. So they decided to have more than a dozen B-52 bombers in the air permanently across the globe, filled with nuclear bombs. This was known as Operation Chrome Dome. This is Quita Pellajos Beach, and right behind it the nice and tiny village of Palomares. On January the 17th, 1966, about 9.5 kilometers high, there were 2 US Air Force planes in the air over Palomares. A KC-135 Stratos tanker with a lot of fuel on board, and a B-52 bomber with 4 nuclear bombs on board, each bomb 75 times the force of the Hiroshima bomb. Great! The 2 planes approached each other for a standard mid-air procedure, refueling the B-52. But something went wrong. Very wrong. The 2 planes collided and the KC-135 exploded. All personnel was killed. The B-52 broke in 2 halves. 3 of the 7 B-52 crew members were killed in the blast. The other 4 were safely ejected from the plane. One of them didn't survive that. His parachute did not deploy. All 4 bombs fell down, and every one of them was equipped with a parachute. Bomb number 1 fell down here, in this riverbed. Its parachute worked, so it only had a dent, and that was it. Bomb number 4 fell down way out, about 9 kilometers offshore, and it took 89 days to finally find it. Now how about bomb number 2 and number 3? Well, to find that out, let's go to Palomares Cemetery. Number 3 fell down over there near the village school. No one was hit, and that is still a miracle. And number 2 fell down here, close to the cemetery, together with parts from both planes. Bombs number 2 and 3 also had parachutes, but they did not deploy, so they fell down at a huge speed. The nuclear explosives were not detonated, but because of the impact, the conventional explosives were. Highly radioactive plutonium-239 leaked out and was spread by wind and fire. It contaminated parts of the region. At first, the US military and government denied that there were nuclear bombs involved. Then they said there were, but there was no danger. And then, after the press got really involved, they had to admit, yes, there is contamination. Great again. Locals were told not to eat or sell their crops, especially the tomatoes. The US flew in 1,600 soldiers for the cleanup operation. They gathered 1,100 tons of contaminated soil and crops, put it into nearly 5,000 barrels that were shipped to the USA to be buried there. Protocol said they had to wear gloves and mouth masks, but a lot of the men were told not to, for not to alarm the locals. Today some of them still are fighting awkward forms of cancer and are still fighting for acknowledgement and justice. In 2015, Spain and the US came to an agreement that the US would pay for a really good cleanup. In 2017, during his first term, President Trump stated that the US was not responsible and he was not committed to this agreement. Okay, MAGA, like that great nation in the 60s? Meanwhile, back in 1966, bomb number 4 wasn't found yet. Ships and divers kept searching and searching, and nobody knew whether it was intact or not. Could the Mediterranean be contaminated? The Spanish government was very worried about the tourist industry. On March 8, US Ambassador Duke pulled a publicity stunt. On this cold and windy day he put on his swimsuit and went swimming here at Quitapayajos beach, together with the Spanish Minister of Tourism and a lot of press around. When he came out of the cold water, a reporter asked him if he had noticed any radioactivity. Ambassador Duke replied with the historic words, "If this is radioactivity, I love it." He pulled it off and Spanish tourism was saved. Great. Again. Mid-April 1966, bomb number 4 was discovered intact at the bottom of the Med. It was brought in by a Navy vessel. Bomb number 1 and 4 are still today exposed at a museum in the USA. So, this is one of the crash sites, and it is still contaminated. And according to plutonium-239 half-life, and according to the new Trump administration, it will be for the next 24,000 years. Now this fence is meant to keep me out, and I guess that will work. But did you watch my latest video about rainstorms out here? Will this fence also keep contaminated soil in? I don't think so. So great once again. And yet people are growing food here. A lot of food. Like they have done hundreds of years. Cauliflowers, fruits and tomatoes. It is agriculture and greenhouses all over the place. And some of it is close to the contaminated crash sites. Or even very close. Now, did I notice any radioactivity out there? Well, if this is radioactivity, I am not quite sure. But MAGA, like in the 60s, that is poison. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.